Yeah, this is where the magic happens.
What do you want to say in this video?
Gosh, what do I want to say? What do I want to say?
What do you want to say?
What do I want
always
to
the
say?
question, right?
Oh my gosh, it's such an important question.
Why don't we just introduce the fact that we've met each other recently and are working on cuddling more all the time, and I at least feel like I have more better ideas when I'm hanging out with you, and I feel like you have more better ideas when you're hanging out with me.
More better ideas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of those ideas is to make videos together.
It's to make videos as pro cuddlers. That's what we do. As you can see, this gentleman is one of the cuddlers.
Certified.
Certified cuddling.
Only the best
expert.
cuddlers are certified by Cuddlers. Some cuddlers aren't certified by Cuddlist, but
you know what?
are still okay.
Not yet, but listen, I've been doing this since July 2017, and I consider myself a pro at this point. So, that's not to say I won't get on the Cuddlist platform, but I have been using a website called Cuddle Comfort. That was my gateway drug into the world of professional cuddling.
I thought oxytocin was your gateway drug into professional cuddling.
That's good. That's true. Yeah, I think that's actually more accurate.
It's a cuddling joke because oxytocin is released when you cuddle.
It's true.
And it's a neurotransmitter that makes you feel amazing.
Like, so good. Oh my God. It's like my job. It's our job to feel good and to have other people feel good with us.
You oxytocin drug dealer.
Oh! It's true. I'm like a drug dealer. I never thought about that. Mom, I'm sorry if you're watching. I know you didn't know. Now you know.
I'm for legalization, so I'm not sorry.
Legalization of oxytocin distribution.
Yes.
Through cuddles.
This is a new movement we're gonna start. We're gonna protest right alongside all the other. I don't know what else we're gonna protest beside, but we'll be right there.
We're pro oxytocin.
So, for those of us who don't, those of them, I know what it is. For those people watching who might not know what professional cuddling is, why don't you start with that?
Wow, okay, yes. So what I share when I meet with a client is that what I provide is space for platonic cuddling and connection. And it's space for them to experience connection with me, with themselves, a space to relax, and also to just be open with their communication, right? So a lot of people that I meet with just don't really have someone else in their life that they can turn to talk to be with, to have a physical touch and connection with. For example, I met with a gentleman right before I moved to New York from Austin who was in his early 20s, and as soon as he walked into my place, I gave him a hug. And he said he hadn't been hugged in about a year, and the last person to hug him was his mother. And you know, it's when I hear things like that just make me realize that you know, for me, touch is so important. And I think just for all human beings, and there are a lot of people who are so touch deprived in our society that...
But Alyssa, we have such a warm and affectionate culture here in America.
Oh, gosh.
We'd be touch deprived.
Well, gosh.
Especially living in this city of New York. That's a complete... I'm being completely facetious when I say that, because a lot of our interactions and our connections, even now, two professional cuddlers, we're sitting and we've got a space between us. A lot of the time we spend together is spent more like this, and it's great, but in America that's very uncommon. And people that have very good friends who have very close connections, sometimes even strong, intimate partnerships, still are missing the physical touch component of that.
That's true.
And sometimes people have great connections, but don't realize that you're allowed to have touch without sex.
Yes.
That's a big cause for me as a man. Nobody ever told me that. The idea was that I shouldn't be seeking out touch with people, and I felt weird if I did, because touch is so associated with sex that it's always construed as come on to something different than what it is. I just want to be hugged too.
So on that note, I want to share just a little bit about the first time that I met Corwin, because we were connected through another pro cuddler that we both knew, and we went to a cafe together, and I ended up just like breaking open and feeling so just really held by his presence. And he asked me if I wanted to go back to his place and share a cuddle. And I was like, okay. And so we go back together, and I just remember feeling so able to let myself just go and be like held and safe and in this space where I didn't have to be concerned about it becoming something sexual. Like I could just be held and experienced and appreciated and acknowledged by a man. And it was such a powerful experience for me, because I have had a tendency also to, when I have a man who I'm close physically with, it almost always becomes something sexual. And so to have that kind of connection where it was physical, it felt so affirming, and I felt so comfortable with myself. I could just see how healing that would be for so many women who have had experiences that, you know, whenever you're in close physical proximity to a man, it's like it has to become sexual, right? But it actually doesn't. And it can be just incredibly healing and like cathartic to just be with someone who's holding space for just you, and they don't have any kind of ulterior motive or sexual motive. So I'd love to hear you speak on that, actually.
What I was noticing myself thinking about as you were saying that, Allyssa, is that it is really incredibly meaningful to me when I'm with someone who's willing to trust that it's not going to become sexual. And I had an experience at a group cuddle event back in Colorado, where I was talking to a young woman I was cuddling with there about sexual feelings that came up in cuddling, and she was able to recognize that that doesn't mean that I was looking for something sexual from her. It doesn't mean that I was putting pressure onto her for anything sexual. These are feelings that come up. They're very natural. They're human. Touch and sex are absolutely both human experiences that we all have some kind of relationship with. Even if you're a non-sexual person, you were created through sex somehow. So it's part of our experience of the world. That said, they can absolutely be different, and I have felt very affirmed when there were women and sometimes men who recognized that touch was not about sex and could be non-sexual. And even more when they recognize we can still talk about it. I have a lot of men who are concerned when they cuddle with me that they're going to get an erection. That's fine. It happens. It happens to me sometimes. It doesn't have to mean anything else.
Absolutely. I love it. So I think one of the most amazing things about Corwin and I meeting is just being able to open up this conversation about the importance of touch and connection and how healing it is, especially in a culture where there is this kind of like weirdness sometimes around touch, right? Like we shake hands, and when we meet people, it can be kind of, unless you're, you know, in certain kind of like subcultures where it's more acceptable, like people go a long time without being hugged. People go a long time without having any kind of physical connection other than in a sexual context. And so we are excited to be on this frontier, and you know, I feel so fascinated by human relationships and intimacy, and this is just one of the most amazing lines of work I could have ever gotten into. So it's really neat to be forging relationships with other people who do this kind of work as well. So I'm really glad that I met you, sir.
Ditto.
Awesome.
Let's
yeah.
You want a hug before we stop this video? This is how professionals hug. It's the same as you.
Yeah.
All right, the same as you, but maybe for longer.
Maybe. I wonder if like seeing people hug releases oxytocin as well. Can you tell us? I would love for you to tell us if you.
What was your reaction?
What was your reaction to seeing us hug? Well, we're both for hire, by the way. If you want in on some of that.
And now I'm really curious about hugging as performance art.
Ooh.
Yeah, let us know if you
We
have a
like
line to
this.
something like that.
I like it.
We'll give it a shot.
Oh, I love you. I love you as always. I'm so excited to just make more videos and have more fun with these kinds of conversations. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll get some other people in here sometime. Maybe we'll have a cuddle party and just like a bunch of people cuddling together and talking about cuddling. That'd be kind of cool.
It would be.
You know what? If you're watching this, if there's anything that you would like to see or you would like to ask, I would love to hear in the comments what that would be.
Let us know. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. I love you.